Hi guys, sorry. I have been having technical difficulties again. I just couldn't seem to get, well, it's my internet. So I have switched to my cell phone and I hope that will do the trick. So welcome back if you've joined me before. Sorry this is so late, but hopefully it'll still be enjoyable. So today I have some snacks that I wanted to give a try. A couple of them I picked up at the grocery store, and then I have some things I picked up at World Market. But I also decided on what I want to do for a giveaway and for the 2-year anniversary of this channel being on YouTube. So that 2-year YouTubiversary, as I like to call it, is coming up on April 30th. That happens to be a Monday, so I will probably do the actual anniversary post. Might be another live stream, we'll see, but it'll probably be, I think I figured out it would be May 5th, which is also Cinco de Mayo, so we'll see if I come up with something more or what. So, about the giveaway, you got to stay tuned to the end if you want to join in. So, for now, I'll show you what I have gotten. So, I have been seeing these in the grocery store. These are Doritos Crunch Nuts. I actually ended up buying 2 packages of these on accident. I thought it was a different flavor than what it was. And I have to admit, I've actually tried this one. But I also have the Cool Ranch flavored, and I haven't tried that yet. So at least I can compare them. So I'm going to start with these. These are nacho cheese flavored. And they have this crunch nut, and then a pretzel bite, a cheese puff. Sorry, I'm covering them the wrong way. They have this triangle. What are they calling that? A 3D triangle and a corn stick. And so this one's kind of a snack mix one. And this one I think is it looks like this one's literally just the crunch nuts. So this kind of reminds me of those trio mixes that you get with some of the Doritos, you know, that they're like Taco Explosion and Cheese Explosion. So here we go. And this is, I don't know how this is gonna work. So there's one of the sticks and the cheese puff, the triangle. And they're pretty well seasoned, but they're not too bad. They're not making a huge mess. I wish I would have brought a napkin in here, though. I always seem to miss, like, something that I should have brought. I think this is a crunch nut. It's a little hard to tell, but it is different. Sorry, with my hands full, this is harder than I expected. You can see that it's different from the cheese puff. So, I don't know if I got quite everything in that pour. I'm not seeing, here's a pretzel piece, but it's just a really tiny piece. So, anyway, here we go. I'm going to start with the actual crunch nut. Let's see if I can find one more so I can show you what it looks like on the inside. Really wish I'd remembered to grab a napkin. I'm going to keep saying that probably. Here's another one. So it has a crunchy outer coating. It's kind of difficult to see the nut inside, but it is there. You can tell it's there as you bite into it. And here's a nut that just kind of isn't encased. So it's a peanut. It definitely has that peanut flavor. The nacho flavor is a lot more subtle than you'd have on, say, a nacho cheese Dorito, a typical Dorito. Kind of barely there, but texturally, sorry, I'm just gonna touch the screen because it's dimming on me. I forgot to reset the the sleep timer on it. All right, and I have a Coke here. It's dry, so I needed a little something. So anyway, that's the 3D triangle. So texturally, so far so good. I really like the texture of the crunch nuts. I like that kind of outer texture with that nut inside. Seasoning wise, the 3D triangle is actually really nice. The texture on that is really similar to a Frito. And then it has a lot more of the seasoning on it than the nut had. And it's a little extra crunchy compared to a typical Frito because it has that, I think because of that sturdy shape. So let's try the last couple pieces. So here's a pretzel. And then the corn stick. That one had an interesting texture too. And finally the cheese puff. Right. So the pretzel was nothing special. It wasn't even like having a pretzel. It felt a little bit like having one of those pretzel crisps that's just the outer pretzel bit, but oh, here's a bigger piece. It's interesting because it's smooth like the outer part of a pretzel on one side, and then it's kind of rough. Can you see that on the inside? And that's where all the seasoning's living. So that was a better, much better taste. It's kind of got that, it definitely has that bready texture that you associate with a thicker, like a breadstick, actually, more so even than a pretzel. And that one had quite a bit of seasoning on the bread side. So that was pretty nice. The corn stick has an extra hard crunch to it. Really dense. Very cheesy. Not a lot of like spice or anything. And then the cheese puffs. Grab a couple more of those. The cheese puffs are pretty much exactly what you'd expect. They're that puffy corn cheese ball, and they're small. They're a lot smaller than you'd normally have. So I'm just going to try to get a mix of all of those things in one bite. Oh. More like in a mouthful. Actually, I like it best all mixed up. You get a little more balance of all the cheese flavors and the spices that make it nacho cheese. And you can pick up on that flavor a lot better. And then you have all those textures like melding together, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna put those away. And I'm gonna open the Cool Ranch. Do you guys have a favorite Doritos flavor? Are you Doritos fans? So unfortunately, because I'm on my phone, I don't get to see any comments that you might be making. So I'm sorry about that. If you do have questions and things for me, please pop back later, whether you're watching it live or not. I promise you I read all of my comments. Sometimes it takes me a few days, but just because I'm working and also trying to do all this, but I will read it and I will love to see, you know, what you have to say. So here's the Cool Ranch. There's a really varied, I don't know if you guys, it's really hard to do this with the camera with the more static. Here, let's do this. So you can see they're really varied in size. Some of them are just the size of the nut itself. Some of them are really big. And some of them are kind of in between, like what I had in this one. What I thought was just a nut earlier turned out to still have the coating on it. It just was very small. So I'm going to start with this big piece because I'm hoping I'll get a really good sense of the flavors. Mmm. Mmm. That one had a big nut inside it, so it had a really good peanut flavor. But I also immediately, as soon as it hit my mouth, I could taste that Cool Ranch flavor. Very much like a Cool Ranch Dorito. Although a little less seasoned. I think I'm getting hit more with the, like that kind of creaminess. Well, like the tang that comes with the ranch, with the sour cream. You know what I mean? Let's see if I can. I'm gonna try to find one more really big. Oh, here's one where some of the coating is broken off. I hope you can see that. I can just, yeah, I can kind of make it out in the camera, so you should be able to. So you see there's just kind of a bread coating around the outside of the nut. Mmm. So I kind of held it in my mouth a little bit so that I could really try to catch what the flavor is on the outside. And it does taste a lot like the Cool Ranch Doritos. Definitely in the same ballpark as those. Sorry. I'm adjusting again. So, yeah, these are actually pretty good. Not bad for snacking on. Just, you know, in front of the TV or while you're playing a card game with somebody or whatever. They are a little bit messy. They're not as messy as like, what, Cheetos or something? Sorry. But they are messy enough that maybe a card game's not the best example. But, you know, I could see if you had some napkins handy and stuff, you could definitely snack on these with drinks or something with friends. So the next two things I have are these nuts that I picked up from Cost Plus World Market. Because I never shop there. I love that place. So these ones are sweet and salty cinnamon praline almonds. And you can see, look how dark they are in the package. So then these are whole and roasted salt and lime cashews. Now, I am a huge fan of nuts in general. Cashews are probably, yeah, they're my absolute favorite. Very close to these are macadamia nuts and pistachios, and then almonds. And then, you know, I've never had a nut I didn't like, so I love them all. So I'm going to start with the almonds. Tear the strip off. I love that these are in a resealable bag. They have a zip top. This is 8 ounces, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what I paid for any of this stuff. None of it was unreasonable, but there we go. There's an almond. Mmm. Mm-hmm. So these are really nicely roasted. And they're nice and crunchy. And they have a really nice cinnamon flavor. It's not overpowering, but it's there. And the cinnamon balances out the sweetness. They're not overly sweet. This is like, if you've ever made candied nuts yourself at home, to me, this is it has a very, very homemade taste to it. And that cinnamon is really good. And It says sweet and salty. I will say I'm not getting much salt. I have one more here. Sorry, I'm going to keep touching my screen because it just bugs me when it gets all dark. So I put up curtains today. In here, I remembered I had them. So I put them up. And I thought that would help with the light. And it does seem to be helping. I think I like how it came out last time a little bit better. When I do this on my computer, you can see the background stuff, but that's not showing up today. So I can see I'm going to have to set things up a little bit differently if I want you to have anything to look at besides my very bare walls and my heater, which I had to turn off because A, I was getting too warm, and B, it was way too noisy. I just couldn't stand it. So anyway, yeah, I'm not getting the salt. I wouldn't really call this sweet and salty. I would call it sweet and spicy, and not spicy hot, but you know, spicy savory, because you can definitely taste the cinnamon. So do you guys like nuts? There I am again, just firing 20 questions at you, which I wish I could see what your answers might be if you're watching. But hey, whether you're watching now or in the future, I'd love to hear your thoughts on nuts. And I'm curious, I always love to ask people how they feel about nuts and cookies and sweets. I am very much a nuts in my cookies person. Nuts with my sweets in general. Most of the candy bars that are my favorites have nuts in them, or they have something that balances out the sweet in a nutty way, like a Reese's cup that has, you know, the peanut butter, and the peanut butter's not so sweet, so it balances out the sweet of the chocolate. But when it comes to cookies, I really like nuts in them. It just balances out that sweetness for me. So I really like that. So anyway, on to the cashews. I just realized I didn't smell any of the stuff. And I have to say, all I can really smell are the nuts. I can't really smell any of the flavors. But these are beautifully roasted. They look really good. Oh yeah. You can definitely taste the lime. The lime is definitely there. It's, there's just this citrusy hit. It's not like, how do I explain it? You don't really taste, if you ate this blindfold and you didn't know it was supposed to have lime in it, I don't know if you'd be able to say, oh, that's lime. But you definitely would know it's citrus. Maybe somebody with a really developed palate could tell it was lime, because that one had a little more something to it. Again, they're not real salty. I don't know if all the salt, it looks like all the salt's on the bottom of the bag. So there wasn't anything to help the salt stick, so it's just at the bottom. But yeah, it's kind of nice. I just get, there's kind of this moment where you get this light hit of that lime. And it's just kind of subtly there, and then it's gone. It's almost like the creaminess of the nut, because that's the thing about cashews for me. They have this kind of creaminess. That's how I would describe it. Anyway, very nice. I think if I were to make these myself, I would maybe add some cilantro too. And for people who like spice, you could easily add something spicy, and this would be a really lovely, lovely combination. So, and again, really great just for snacking, and these are a lot less messy than the crunch nuts, so you could definitely, you know, have these when you're playing a game of, you know, cards or a board game or whatever with friends. This would be really great. Definitely would be wonderful with, you know, whatever beverage you'd like to have with it. And then again with these, I think I would add more salt to them, because I do feel, again, that I couldn't really taste the salt, and I did want some salty with that cinnamon praline. The other option, of course, would be to just have a plain roasted almond and mix it with this, maybe 1/4 to, you know, 1 part to 3 parts. So you had mostly this, but with a little bit of salty roasted ones. So the last thing that I have, this is really going to be a short live stream, but that's fine. The last thing I have are these Kit Kats. And I hope that they're still worth having, because I've had them since last summer. I think I bought them and I kind of forgot about them. And I kept meaning to have them with one of the, you know, ramen tastings or something like that, because I think of them as being kind of a Japanese thing. These actually have the Golden Gate Bridge on them, and it says that they're from California and they're strawberry. And they were in sort of a, like a, I think it's a, it doesn't say on this package, but I feel like there was a special display that was like Kit Kat USA or something like that, or Kit Kat America. But it still reminds me of the Japanese ones, because I know they do a ton of flavors over there in Japan. And I typically forget when I'm at the Asian stores to actually look for the flavored Kit Kats, but I'd really love to try some. So next time I'm at the Asian market, I'm going to look and see. I usually don't think of it until I'm at the check stand, and then I'll do a quick look of what's there. Excuse me, but the selection of candy is usually very minimal at those stores, which is great. And so I don't necessarily see it. But these are just mini Kit Kats, which I've also never had. I don't imagine that they're going to be a whole lot different, except that I wonder about the ratio of the chocolate, or, you know, the coating to the cookie inside. But it definitely has like that strawberry flavor or scent to it, kind of that artificial strawberry, but not bad. It smells pretty good. And so it's describing it as strawberry cream. So I don't know if it's white chocolate and then strawberry, if it's just some sort of a strawberry candy coating. But there it is. It's just a little rectangular Kit Kat. And somehow they managed to stamp Kit Kat. Can you see that? Kit Kat on the front, even though it's that small. So, manja. There we go. They held up fine. I have to say, I really like the full-size Kit Kats and being able to snap it. But it does seem to have a nice snap. This is one thing. This is one thing I do like with wafer cookies in it. These, and I like Twix. I was never a big fan of those, what are those, like iced wafer cookies that, I don't know, Grandma used to have sometimes, or some, I associate them for some reason with some older people. And, or at least, you know, when I was very young, they were already fairly old. They always seem to have them. It's not anything my mom ever bought, and I think I remember feeling like I wanted them when I was a kid, and then every time I had them, I didn't really like them. They were just too sweet. As a kid, I didn't really understand that that was what I didn't like about them, but the texture of the wafer is fine. I don't have a problem with the texture. But anyway, this is pretty nice. It's kind of just overly sweet for my taste, which is something I don't eat Kit Kats very often because of that anyway. There's no nuts, and the wafer really helps with the sweetness, but it's still a little sweeter than say like a Reese's or something that has a lot of nuts in it. But it's not bad. Definitely an artificial strawberry flavor, but not too bad. All right, so that's it for the tasting. So let's move on to another topic I wanted to talk about. I touched on this briefly in the last live stream, and that is subscription services. I am really curious to hear, excuse me, I need another drink. Oh, better. All right, so anyway, I'm really curious to hear from you folks as I'm getting more and more subscribers and more people viewing. What would you like to see? So I'm not getting the treat subscription box anymore, and I'm curious to know if you enjoy the idea of some sort of subscription box, and if so, what kind is going to really catch your attention, or that you're most interested in seeing. And so I looked up a few different ones. I had some in my phone from a while back when I first signed up for the treat subscription that I had also looked at and debated about and couldn't decide on. And then I just kind of reviewed them today a little bit before the live stream so that I could talk about what they offer. The alternative to a subscription box would be maybe just to continue picking up gadgets to review, and or gadgets and tools, and or ingredients, and maybe start picking up ingredients and using them in recipes. So I have definitely noticed that the product reviews, the actual gadget reviews, and the recipes are definitely the most popular things on my channel. So I'm happy to deliver if that's what you folks want to see, but it would help if I actually heard from you. So the first one that I am considering as far as subscription boxes go, if I go that way, is the Badass Kitchen Box. This one's a little on the pricier side. My treats subscription was $25 a month, and you can actually get a less expensive one, but I went for the one that had I think it averaged 8 to 10 items per box, as opposed to the less full box that was, I think, under 20. But this one's $40 a month. It has kitchen gadgets, accessories, some recipes, chef's tips, and specialty ingredients in the box every month. Another one that I looked at is the Cheese of the Month Club, which would definitely bring an opportunity to maybe do recipes, or maybe just do some tastings and then talk about what kind of dishes they might be good in. So they are, this one's also a little more pricey. It's about $36 a month. It comes with typically 3 different kinds of cheeses, about half a pound each. It says they're hand cut, carefully aged, and they come with detailed tasting notes. I'm imagining that those tasting notes might include some serving suggestion kind of things too, recipe suggestions. I looked briefly at Vinebox. Guys, if any of you are doing Vinebox, I would love to hear some feedback from you, because I have to tell you, and Vinebox, if anybody from Vinebox happens to pop in, I was not impressed with your website. So I will tell you that if I go to a website to look at something and all it wants to do is have me just sign up without giving me any information, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to find something else. I'm sure that if I wanted to take the time to do your survey and the survey and stuff that was on there, I probably would have finally found the information I wanted. But I really wanted to know up front what comes every month, how much comes, and what's the cost. So the thing that's intriguing about this one that made me want to look at it is it's wines by the glass. So you